what's the invitation to them so that they can just grow their businesses and become so much wealthier? Why become wealthier?
Why become wealthier? Oh, what a wonderful question. I'm going to go a little on the esoteric side now. I feel like we are conduits of life itself. And the more spacious we are, the more abundant we become and the more impact we can have on the planet. And I feel like when you clear the blocks of all the limiting beliefs and all the stuff that is blocking your ability to manifest and create wonderful things, you're actually, your life is reduced. And why become wealthy? Not for the sake of having a lot of money, just because you become a space through which life can actually manifest. So if you're grounded and you have an open heart, in my mind, and really become really spacious, it is my belief that life will find space through you to manifest abundance. And in manifesting abundance, it doesn't matter what it is that you're doing, but you become a strong influence for the planet. And the planet right now needs people like that more than ever before. As you know, I find the dangers that we're in right now because of the divisions and all the stuff that is going on in the world, all the wars and all the misunderstanding and lack of compassion and so forth. The more spacious you become and the more able to influence what's going on in the world, to me, that's the juice. Obviously, the money is a byproduct. I mean, when you're that spacious, that abundant, that open-hearted, I think that you are, in effect, raising the level of consciousness of the planet. And I think that you might be an agent of, saving not only the planet, but saving humanity.
Yes.
And so to me, the inspiration, I mean, I am a businessman and I have, as you mentioned, created a lot of different companies, but, I take my students through a process of making a difference in the community. And so nobody graduates without taking on a community service project. And after all these years, the biggest breakthroughs that I have heard from people that are extremely successful have been from the legacy that they found in taking on a project, be it creating an orphanage or taking kids off the streets or, documenting undocumented people and helping people who are in poor conditions. Who they needed to become in order to make that happen has not only created fulfillment, like you wouldn't believe, in their own lives, like a legacy. Like I tell them, the day that you put your head on the pillow and it's probably your last night, I want you to be on your deathbed and be able to look back at your life and say, wow, that was an extraordinary ride. I am going in peace because who I was in the world through becoming a conduit for such abundance and influence on the planet is something that I can go now and be at peace with the difference that I made. I think we all strive to make a difference. We want our lives to matter, and we, in our hearts, we want to make sure that having been here made a difference. And it's okay to want to own large corporations and run, billion-dollar companies, because you have, when you achieve that level of success, you have such strong influence on so many people. And I think I define success on having lived a life that made other people's lives better. And if you own a company that has 10, 20, 100, 500,000 people, you at the top, who you are is essential to having these people have a fulfilling life when you get in touch with who you are. When it's not just about proving yourself to, unconsciously still proving yourself to somebody that maybe isn't even alive. A lot of these people are there to prove themselves to something or something, to actually look for their own personal value through achieving something outside of themselves. It's a shift, a radical shift in paradigm when you get grounded in being this incredibly open, compassionate, loving human being that life happens to choose because you could be a good steward of life's ultimate purpose of making people's lives better. And like Buckminster Fuller said, a world that works for everyone 100% of the time. You know the quote better than I do, but it's very inspiring to me.
Yes.
And I think that's why people should, I fully trust, because I've seen it for now, I've been training for almost 30 years. I fully trust that bring me anybody into the room, and if I have a chance to work with them and they get in touch with who they are, really, at the core, every single human being wants not just to accumulate wealth, they want to have an impact. They want to make a difference. And when they clear all this toxic limiting beliefs they have, they fall in love with who they are themselves. Yeah. And then by the end of their own lives, it's a magical ride. They have created something that they can be fully fulfilled, proud, and also touched a million lives. So that's what I'm about. That's what I want people to get. That there's no, that it is important to become the space for wealth and success. Because the more wealth, success, and that you have with whatever company you're running, the more influence you'll have on the planet. And it's imperative right now that all these people, unite and make a difference in terms of all this stuff that's going on in the world. There's a lot of suffering going on in the world, tremendous amount of suffering, unprecedented suffering. And nothing could be more fulfilling than to have it both ways, to have success at a very, very high level, to be able to generate wealth in abundance, and also to have an open heart and know that your level of success and with that level of influence come a responsibility and I want people to get that this responsibility is not a burden. It's a privilege, and for people to experience and taste the gift of realizing the power and influence they have, and the response, and to taste responsibility as not only something light, not light in terms of not important, but it's not a burden. It's a privilege. It's a gift. And when people taste responsibility at the level where it's the greatest gift, because they know that they're creators of their own lives and that life and the universe aligns with their purpose and their intention, boy, it's like the whole world becomes malleable. The whole reality becomes a space of infinite possibilities. And then when you get in touch with that, it's like you create miracles all around you. And I want people to experience that. I want people to get that. And I want people who are very influential, who have mastered the game of generating wealth and creating their own companies, to also taste this privilege, this their own open-heartedness, and to be able to influence the planet and make a difference and shift the course of humanity.
Thank you. Well, this is exactly what we're doing together, in our business schools around the world. One of the things that I wanted to do was I really want to invite those in your community that are ready to expand their global markets, that want to meet people that are coming from around the world. This particular program will be in Cancun on November 11th through the 18th. And then we're having other programs in other parts of the world that will be announced. And for those of you that are interested, there will be a button for you to click. There will be a link for you, and just click there and go and read our big, it's a big web page. And it's because it's an educational one, because I'm creating the 5th generation of my schools. And we're looking into new technologies, renewables, and contribution. Those that already have a lot of money are going to come and learn about contribution. Those that are already into contribution are going to come and learn on how do you look at the opportunities that are coming up. And new technology, you can Google that. It's fascinating. It goes from not only artificial intelligence, AI, robotics, medical, but virtual reality. I mean, all of the different, the technology that's coming in for learning, like in 5 years, 10 years, Gabriel and I are going to be coming to you in a hologram in your own living room. That's going to be really fun and exciting, because that's going to save a lot of carbon prints. But I also want to invite you to hang out with people like one of my two of my Chinese business partners are coming. One of them is a gentleman by the name of Wang Ming, who is a billionaire with heart. You can learn more about him at solarvalleychina.com. And Wang Ming is a man completely committed to the greening of the world. And his story, his entrepreneurial story, is so fantastic. I won't bore you with the details here. But if you go to that, solarvalleychina.com, there's a webinar there that you can download and listen to it. But one of the things that has happened with him is that he is the essence of commitment on such a huge vision, not only the greening of China, but of the whole world. And he is the #1 solar architect on the planet. No one else has done what he has done, which he has a whole city of 7 million people that use renewables for the street lights and to heat the water. Then he has 500,000 square meter area called the Solar Valley. That's a huge factories, big 5-star hotel, 5,000 people conference, a university that we are attached to. And so we have him for you to hang out with and be with and to talk with and to get to know. And then there's my other Chinese partner in education who owns 35 companies, has invested in 128 companies. He's a billionaire in Taiwan. They have different ways of measuring billionaires around the world. That's another story that I don't like to get into too much because it's so egotistical. But, there's a lot of billionaires in different parts of the world in their currencies. And so he's coming to share his business model on how he grew the largest training company in China, which are my partners. And he was the one that introduced me to the solar architect who eventually, Wang Ming, who became my partner too. So Wilson Lin and Wang Ming will be around, aside from people, of course, like Gabrielle. There's a woman that's coming that after she did our business school in 1992, wrote a business plan, did a PERT chart, a planning chart, went back and created a company that eventually had revenues of $190 million. And there's many different stories, we churn out a lot of millionaires, people that will come in and they learn what we teach in business, and they learn and work with people like Gabrielle. And they are so clear that it is that combination of the working on self and having very powerful business tools that creates the miracle.